from the heart of the free state of New Hampshire. This is The Independence with Carla Gericke. And now, here's your host, Carla Gericke.
Hi guys, and welcome back to The Independence. It's Wednesday and I'm so happy to be joining you. Today we are going to be doing an entire show about love. I know that sounds kind of strange, and I was sort of surprised this morning when I woke up and I reflected on what I wanted to talk about. And that was the topic I decided on. So here's the little hook for today's show. Do you guys think there are more rom-coms, romantic comedies, love stories being created in the world? Or do you think there are more horror movies being created? And which way do you think that is trending? So that's going to be my hook, so stick around for the answer to that. So we will be talking today about what is love from sort of the ancient definitions, where there are over 20 types of love. And I'm going to kind of go through what the Greeks thought, what some other cultures think about love. We're going to talk a little bit about why love is important in our lives, what good things flow out of it, and just kind of, break down maybe even the lyrics of the Holiday song, What is Love? Baby, don't hurt me no more. And those lyrics actually resonate with all of us, of course, because for a lot of people, they actually associate love with vulnerability, and that is one of the components. And I think that's part of the reason there's this downtrend in love, and because people are so addicted to their phones, to their screens, to the doom scrolling, to having their minds hijacked, their hormones hijacked through this sort of delivery system that everyone is carrying around. I walk in the woods all the time, and honestly, I see people walking in the woods now on their screens. It is a problem. And so we're going to jump into that. But right before we do that, I did want to follow up on last week's show where I talked about the lab leak theory about David Morens, M-O-R-E-N-S for the AI that can't spell, who was indicted last week. There is a hard, big push on the internet to see about getting Fauci indicted as well for crimes against humanity, in my opinion, but it'll probably just be like, oh, you lied to Congress. And the time is running out on that. So if this is an issue you're passionate about, please do go online, find a petition, reach out to your state legislators, your Congress people, raise your voice and say, hey, we think these people should be held to account. I also want to mention, since I did say in the show that yes, it is a lab leak, yes, even the CIA and other intelligence communities agree it is, I think where there's still a question, and I wanted to clarify this, is whether the leak was indeed out of Wuhan, as is being supposed, or if there was a leak out of where I would guess would be the university in North Carolina at Durham, where of course they were actually originally doing the tests and the enhancements on this coronavirus before having to send it overseas. And I will give you guys a quick personal anecdote, but before my mother passed away, she was incredibly ill in 2019. She lived in South Carolina, and when I was going through her medical records after her demise, I noticed that back in 2019 in December, when she had been very ill, we actually thought she was going to die. In fact, my dad was like, I think your mom's going to die. She's got something. We don't know what it is. And on her medical records, it said novel virus in December 2019, which I think is at least a data point to say there was some novel virus circulating in the U.S. back around December 2019, which would put the lab leak on this side. Now, of course, if there were 2 leaks, or if they didn't know who did the leak first, you might have seen the kind of cover story we saw, where first both sides were like, let's not blame each other, and now both sides are like, let's blame each other. That is, the intelligence community in a nutshell. All right, so now let's talk about love. So there are 20 types of love, and I'm hoping if we can dissect these a little bit, this can help us all get kind of back on a path to really seek these relationships out, look for these things in our lives, find them, be able to really embrace them, create gratitude, and actually heal the world. Because here's the truth. These devices, this hijacking of your consciousness, is within your control and solely within your control to reverse. So we're going to talk about the full Greek spectrum, from eros to agape to philia, storge, pragma, mania, all of it, right? So what set me down this path, you all ask back home, I know you're asking, was I was on Instagram the other day, and this, I blew this up and made it a personalized version for me, but this was a just little meme that went past, and it said different types of love. So I'm going to break these down. Then we're going to talk a little bit about Robert Sternberg's triangular theory, where he talks about 8 different kinds of love. This is more from a sort of psychology perspective. There's Helen Fisher, who does groundbreaking work on brain science. So my jam, the thing that I'm trying to teach the world, is to take the things we know from a humanity perspective, the things that are mysterious and that we all sort of sense from an intuitive perspective, and maybe you don't, because maybe that gut-brain nexus has been damaged or over-medicated or trained out of you. But I want to take the things that we sort of intuitively know, or know on a sort of mystic level almost, the unknowables, and bring neuroscience and reputable science and hormones and how our body really works and biology, and put those things together. So there is now, because of modern science and because of the experiments we can run and because of the tools we have available to us now, there are actually ways to sort of measure love. And you can measure them across different disciplines. So you could look at it from a perspective of neuroscience, but you can also look at it from a perspective of systems, right? For those nerds out there, the coders and those guys, you can look at love as a frequency from an art and literature perspective, right? That's where many of us know it. From a mystics perspective, from pure chemical perspective. So all of those things together start to give us a very holistic story about the kind of frequency we as humans and as mankind should be striving for, so that we can have a harmonious world, a harmonious society, and on just a personal level, an actual harmonious corpus, because then those people energetically come together and we create something that is a much happier and healthier frequency, if you'll indulge me. All right, so I'm going to go through the 12 or 16 types of love here, jump into some of the other ones. But before we actually dive into these kinds and definitional ones, I do want to mention this, right? Because it's almost like we've forgotten this. Why should we care about love, Carla? Well, what are the good things that flow from love? So on a personal level, you have better physical health and longevity, and the science is in on that. You have a stronger immune system. So if you're struggling because you went through COVID, you made some poor choices based on engineered consent, it's not your fault. But if you want to improve your immune system, you gotta get a little more love in your life. Less anger, less adrenaline, less, all the angry hormones, and more choosing purposely with your mind the things that are good for you. So better physical health and longevity, stronger immune system, mental and emotional well-being, and it gives you purpose and meaning. All right, on a relational level, so this is the magic zone, right? Like this is where, oh, me and you and you and you, and now we're creating a lattice of love, is on a relational level, it creates deep trust and security, joy, passion, and pleasure. It gives you growth. And in the Sternberg sort of definition, it gives you a combination of intimacy and passion and commitment that gives you lasting fulfillment. Now, on a family and community level, you get stronger families. So for the pronatalists out there, of course, tending towards love is a better model than spreading hate, anger, fear, disgust, distrust, and all of those things. Of course, love creates and is a very vital component for a high trust society. So if that is something people want to be building, we should be thinking love forward. It also creates better parenting, which is a no-brainer, right? You should love your children and give them that reciprocity. And then community resilience. On a societal and global level, why should we care about love? Because it creates increased cooperation and trust. Again, you cannot have high trust societies if you do not have a basis of love, and it creates moral progress. So those are some of the, and creativity and innovation. And for those of us who care about where we live and what it looks like, it also gives you stewardship then across space, like across your environment. All right, so let's jump into this definitions of the different types of love. So I see we're already going pretty fast here. So I'm going to sort of race through these a little fast. But the first one, the one that we kind of all know, is eros, right? And that's the fire of romantic and sexual desire, right? So definitionally, that's your passionate physical and romantic love. So that's kind of those dweebs in Titanic, right? That's Jack and Rose, and it's the one we all know, the one we're all conditioned to believe is what we're looking for, and then maybe we forget that there are all these other types. So here are the other ones. So eros is the Valentine's Day love, right? Okay, but from there, again, we have all these different kinds, so let's dive in. So philia is a love built on trust between friends. So that's that deep, loyal, affectionate love where you have mutual respect. And what is the word that's important there? The mutual part, right? So many things in personal relationships are based on reciprocity, i.e., we work together, I treat you like you treat me, so, you shouldn't run around telling people you don't respect them or you dislike them or you think they're stupid, and then expect them to, react compassionately and happily in the opposite direction. So a modern sort of example of that, philia, is what we see between all the kids in the Stranger Things, right? Like those are their buddies and they're on their bikes. All right, storge. Storge is a natural love between family. So that's that instinctive, warm, and steady affection that grows through familiarity in daily life, and it's most commonly found between family members. So that would be, like the Parr family in The Incredibles, right? Like the family, and they have their family unit, and they all have each other's backs. Agape. So agape is the love that gives without asking in return. So this is that sort of selfless, unconditional, sacrificial love that we give freely with no expectation of repayment. It extends to strangers and to humanity and the divine, and it is often seen as the most, like the highest, most divine form of love. So that's like where you're sacrificing, right? So if we're in, let's go into like the superhero world, that would be like one of the superheroes sort of dying for the greater good, I suppose. So so that's Tony Stark, let's say, right? His sacrificial act at the end of Avengers. Spoiler alert, sorry guys, at the end of Avengers Endgame. All right, and that's agape, right? So that is giving love without expecting something in return. So then we have philotia. Philotia? My Greek is, doing my best here, guys. That is the love you offer yourself first. So this is really self-love, right? Philia, right? It's right there in the word. So philotia is your self-love. And this is where your self-esteem is developed, where it's not just bubble baths, it's really understanding yourself and taking care of yourself, which often literally just means saying no to things because we have too many things to do, and the thing we should really be doing is each taking care of ourselves so that you aren't a burden in other places, right? So this could be like in Disney's Moana, her journey on the boat. There's that great documentary about the young Dutch girl who travels all over the world on her sailboat, that kind of thing. So first, love to yourself. Then we've got pragma, which is a love that matures through commitment. So this is practical, long-term, enduring love, built on duty, compatibility, compromise, shared goal, conscious effort. It's the kind of love, if you've been married 32 years like I have been, that's where you're operating. I mean, you have all these other things too, but it is obviously over a long time. And it is through conscious effort, so pragma. So I'm one of those people, I actually do believe love is a choice, right? So you have to stay committed to it and work at it, and it's not always easy. And so an example would be like the family, the couple in modern love. All right, then we've got ludos. So this is a fun one, of course, because this is the playful fun love of flirtation and delight. Now, who's not going to like those words, right? So this is the lighthearted, fun, sort of teasing vibes where you focus on enjoyment and seduction and games and really the thrill of the chase rather than a deep thing, right? So this might be when you're in some kind of flirtation online, kind of that kind of vibe, right? So it's the less committed, sort of more fun, flirty example. That might be where you see couples in sitcoms, where they're just meeting and starting to date. Let's say like on a show like How I Met Your Mother or something like that. All right, now this one, mania. So mania in love, we all know I often talk about COVID mania, right? Mania is the love that loses itself to obsession. So this isn't a good one, right? Necessarily, because it's obsessive, it's jealous, it's kind of more a dark force. So it's a very emotionally volatile love, and that's kind of sometimes where you see that intense passion, and then people, we talk about the crimes of passion where people murder their spouses, don't do that. So it can feel like a kind of madness. And this would be, like Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction, the lady who boils the bunny, right? So you don't want mania as your main appetite or your main dish if you're in the love business. All right, then we've got epithymia. So this is, I hope I'm saying that right, epithymia, I think, is the longing love of unmet desires. So this is that like raw craving, appetite, intense longing, and it's a primal drive, that desire that can fuel passion, but it can also lead to excessive frustration if it's unfulfilled. And this would be like any of those like soapy royal shows, Bridgerton, and I don't even know, there's so many of them out there now, I can't keep them straight, but kind of that like, oh, playful, kind of fawning love, I suppose. Xenia. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more, and I'm going to run out of time. So this will have to become a series. So Xenia is the sacred love extended to a stranger. So this would be your generosity, your kindness, whatever. Like we just had some folks stay with us because they're new to the country and they're from South Africa. And we were like, hey, just come stay with us. And I felt really good about that choice. And if we have to tie it to vulnerability in some way, I was like, oh my God, I'm really busy. I don't think my house is going to be like as clean as it could be. And I haven't done grocery shopping and whatever. And I was just like, you know what? You just got to roll with it. I'm just going to extend this Xenia to these people. And guess what, folks? It all worked out. Anteros is a love that is returned in equal measure. So this is reciprocated or mutual love. It's also something you would see in relationships, right? So this would be like, let's see, like in The Office, right? Pam and Jim, right? Like that slow friendship that grows into an equal and committed love. Meraki. So this one's really cool because it's actually the love for the things you create. Now, for anyone who has enough bandwidth and it is a choice to make the time to be creative, it is important to choose to be creative because that means you are present and engaged as opposed to having your mind hijacked and on the device and consuming. So Meraki is love poured into what you create. Koinonia is the love of shared communion and longing. So that's deep fellowship, community participation. This would be, maybe on a spiritual or emotional bond. Maybe it's even like you just like the same sports, but it could probably be in your church and those kinds of things as well. The last three I'm going to do here, because I have to answer the riddle too, because I was like, don't forget to answer the question about the rom-coms and the horror movies, is Himeros, is that a love that arises completely unexpectedly. So that's that sort of sudden look across the room kind of moment, right? Like the love at first sight stuff. This is that sudden explosive kind of love where you have that instant attraction. Pothos, which sounds a lot like pathos, but it's with an O, so P-O-T-H-O-S, is the love for what is absent or already lost. It's a very poignant sort of melancholic longing, I guess, for someone or something that's absent, unattainable, or already lost. So that one is probably very close to almost like heartbreak and nostalgia and grief, but it is still a form of love. So it's that lingering grief, that yearning that you feel, and that would be in like a movie like The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And I hope if you guys are hearing these movies, that is a great one to go watch. The last one on this list for today, and I will share this on my website, carlagericke.com. There's actually a whole little thing. I put most of my show prep up there today. The last one on this list is Storgic eros. So storgic eros, which is the love that begins as a friendship and deepens into passion. So this is Ross and Rachel on Friends, if I must, or Leslie and Ben in Parks and Rec. It is a beautiful hybrid of the first one, or one of the top ones we talked about, Storge, the natural love between family. So it's a hybrid of that sort of plus eros, your romantic love, and when you put those together, you get, you get the love and the sexual connection and the energy. Now, I'm not going to have time to do the other cultural ones, so maybe I will do those next week. But, you know, there are all these beautiful words and these beautiful concepts from across the world. The studies and the science have been done. Turns out all of mankind actually wants to have the love frequency. And what brought me to this whole thing today? Well, I will tell you what brought me to it, and then I will answer the question about the rom-coms. It's that your hormones are being hijacked by the attention economy, by the algorithms that are slowly, I believe, driving people kind of nuts on the internet. And if we're going to build an immune system against this onslaught on your brain, it has to start with this: for seeking for love, looking for love, and tuning your body hormonally towards a frequency of these different kinds of love. Also, training yourself to understand that love doesn't just mean that romantic and sexual love, that talking about love as friendship and as understanding and as commitment and as help and as helping strangers and all of those things is important, and that what we should be thinking about is love actually as a frequency. Now, it could be the hippy-dippy woo kind, but actually the science is there too to say it is actually across all the disciplines. There is a note that is created when people function bodily, holistically, in an embodied way on what I'm just going to call a love frequency. You can go to my website, carlagericke.com, if you want the more sciencey explanation of that. But in order to dial up our love hormones, which are the oxytocin and the dopamine and our serotonin and all of that, it requires 4 things from you. It requires your time, your willingness to take risks, your reciprocity, i.e., I give it out and I would like it back, and your presence. What is your presence? Your presence is being conscious and aware and here in the here and now. It is not 2 people sitting together and scrolling on their phones together. You are not in a love frequency. You are in an ensnared attention economy frequency if you are doing that. If you want to increase, and I hope you will want to increase, love in your life, it means making the conscious decision to amplify it, to go seek it, to identify it, to find it in your life, to dial that up, because all we have to fight this onslaught on your awareness is your awareness of the onslaught and then doing something about it. That is all the time I have for today. I will be back on this subject again soon. Maybe I'll have some folks in for some chatting about the real estate market soon. Thank you all for joining me. I wish everyone peace, love, and understanding. And let's normalize dandelions. Thanks for joining me, guys. Peace out.